Welcome back, you guys. Glad to have you guys joining back in with us. We're going to do our potatoes today, so you guys get to see what's involved in that. Let's check on Kelly and see what's going on.
All right, we're going to do taters today. We're going to talk about the different kind of potatoes we have. We're going to talk about the different kind of way we're doing our dirt. But most importantly, we're going to talk about our containers. Now, these are just old cattle supplements. But what you want to make sure is, just like anything else, you can use tubs. You can use 5-gallon tubs if you want to use like a 5-gallon bucket or something. You can do it in anything you want. Just depending on how big it is how many taters you can put in here. But I want you to pay attention to something. This right here, number 2, means it's safe. It's food grade. This number 2 means it's food grade. That means there is no chemicals that's going to leach out of this plastic into the food. So you don't want to use something like an old paint bucket or anything that would have harmful chemicals in it. If it's got a 1 or 3, you don't want to use it. So you want to make sure you're using just number 2s. That way you know there's nothing that's been in this or anything in this plastic that's going to harm you or your family. So now we're going to start with drainage. We always make sure we got plenty of drain holes, because if you sit there and let these rot, they'll rot if they get too wet. So you can't have water standing in here. Now, we put them on the bottom, but you'll learn, as these are, you can see the dirt still tacked on here. These will actually seal to the ground and it won't drain properly. But these little bitty 1/2-inch holes, it will fill this thing up with earthworms. They will find this dirt inside and they will come up through these little holes. And when you dump these, well, when we dump these later this year, you'll see what I'm talking about. All the earthworms that have come through these little bitty holes. So it will drain there, but we always put a couple on the sides for a safety measure. I mean, you could put them up, but if you put them up off the ground where that everything can drain, you're also allowing air to come underneath there, which will dry them out more. So you have to water more. So it actually helps to have it on the ground. It will drain. It allows the earthworms to come in there, and earthworms are our friends, so that's always a good thing. So drainage is important. So make sure you have plenty of holes so that you get your drainage on these. So you don't want to rot your taters. All right, this year we're doing a couple different ones. It was kind of different the way things were stocked this year at the stores. We could only find a few of the red Norlands, so we usually use these. So we put some of these red, the red russets off to the side in a dark area, and they actually got eyes on them. And these eyes will become what we call chits. So, don't laugh. C, not S. Anyway, all right, so this is what it'll turn into, and they'll grow off of these eyes. When they're small, everybody says, well, these taters ain't no good because they got eyes on them. Well, you can cut those out and still eat this. That's fine. But we're going to use them to grow. So we got 15 of those. I usually do 6 of them. I do 5 in an area and then 1 in the middle, and I do 6. But you got 15 of these, so I'm going to do 5, 5, and 5. Now what we got here is these are the red Norlands. So we're going to put that back in there so we don't get it mixed up. We're going to do some of our blue. We love these blues. They taste good and they look good. And when you do your hash browns, you chunk them, and man, it makes things look pretty. Then we got our Golden Rush. We've had good luck with these. These are ready to go. I mean, they've got arms on them already, 6 inches long. They should have been, they're telling me they want in the ground now. You can see them just reaching out of the bag. So I have to be careful when we take them out because they're already starting to try to grow.
And what kind are those?
These here are the Gold Rush.
Let me see the front.
We got gold.
Okay.
We got White Superior, which tastes about the same. A little bit different texture, but about the same. A little more yellow on these. And of course we're doing these Harvest Blend. And let's see, you can see the difference. If I pull one out, see we got a purple. You can see the stems are nice and purple on that one. Pull another one out. See, these are red and white. So you can see the different colors that are in here, and you can see which one's going to be what. So when we plant these, you're going to see it. When they start coming up, you'll see the flowers, or not the flowers, but the leaves come up. And they'll have purple leaves, you'll have blue leaves, you'll have red leaves, you'll have green leaves. All the different colors in here, all coming up at the same place. That's always neat to watch. So back to the taters real quick. We're going to go outside here and we'll show you how we're doing our dirt. I'll explain it in here. Now, if you're running low and you can't find a lot of seed potatoes this year, it seems like, you can cut these in half. If you cut them in half, you want to let it set and dry. Just like if you take everybody's diced open a potato before and it's wet. So if you take that wet potato and you put it down in the ground, it will mold and you'll get nothing out of it. It'll just slowly mold and eat away, it'll rot away. So what you need to do, if you don't have enough, we have plenty, but if you don't have enough and you're trying to make do, you can take this, cut it in half. You can actually, like this one, you could get 2 good pieces out of this because you got 2 sets of good chits here. So you could cut this in half right between the two and then let it set, and what it'll do for about a week, and it'll harden. It'll actually kind of get a scab, so that way it'll seal itself and it won't rot. Now you've got ones, let's see here. That one's about the same. I'm trying to find one that's kind of growing in different ways. This in here is a good example. I don't know, this one's kind of all the same. You can kind of see the head of the tater is up here, and you can see the heel on the bottom. Now that's just like a belly button. That's where the seed, the vine came out last year, and that's where you can see where it formed. This potato formed off the vine under the root underneath the ground.
So that's
the heel.
Bottom.
So you want to plant it with your chits up, which is your crowns will usually be toward the top. That's just from nature. Let's see if I can carefully open this up here. You got all these arms wanting to reach. See there? I'm talking about that one's already ready to go. So it will go when it gets into the ground. But so anyway, you can take these and cut them into more. So just make sure you let it dry before you stick it in the ground. That's the main thing. Let's see, we went over the different kind of potatoes we have today. What I want to talk about now, I guess, is the soil. Now, we've already got them sitting out there. I brought this one in. This one's empty. What we're going to do is put about 5 or 6 inches in here. Now, this is where our roots are going to be growing, in that bottom 5 to 6 inches. All of our roots will be coming in down in here. And this is where it's going to get most of its nourishment. So the first stuff I put in there, I had my black cow. I had, it's more of a stable, more fertilizer in the bottom. Now, this next section, this is where our taters are going to grow. From here, from where I'm planting that, as it comes up, grab one of these, as this thing comes up, it's going to start running shoots off. And that's where your taters are actually going to grow, is off this part here, not down here. So we're going to start with that 6 inches. We're going to plant our taters out there. And then as your taters grow, you're going to get about 8 to 9 inches. Then what you want to do is backfill that halfway. So every 6 inches, put 3 inches of dirt in there. Let it grow 6 inches, 3 inches of dirt. So you just keep, as them grow and they grow, you just keep coming up until you get about 2 inches from the top. And once you get to the top, you're not going to add no more dirt. Then you're just going to let them keep on going. And they will get big and bushy, and they're actually really pretty, especially some of the blues and the purples. They have pretty leaves, so they're actually pretty. So what's going to happen is, once you get that top, you're going to let it just do its own thing. Nature will take over, and it'll just turn into a bush out here. Like I say, it'll be very beautiful actually in your garden. Some people say you got to be really careful of letting light hit your potatoes. Green potatoes will make you sick. It'll give you basically food poisoning symptoms. It probably wouldn't kill you, but it's going to make your tummy really upset. So what you got to do is you got to make sure there's no light hitting those taters while they're growing. And if you open one up that's been where there's light to it, you'll see a green tint to it, and that's a no eat. You don't want to eat a green tater, because that means light was to it, and it will make you sick to your stomach. So we want to make sure, some people put a layer of straw or compost, or not compost, but straw or anything, mulch or anything on top to help hide that. But I think, after you're getting up to this point here, you're covering it with dirt, then the foliage will cover it. I've never had any problems. But you can do that if you want to. It's an extra step if you want to, and it makes it kind of look pretty, and they'll hold moisture in. But we run irrigation to these, so they have plenty of moisture every day. The only thing left, we'll show it to you as we go, as they're growing. She does a weekly on this. But when you get them up, you'll get up 3-4 foot tall, and then you'll start getting your flowers. When you start getting flowers, that means it's making taters on the bottom. So it's always exciting when they get to that point where they stop growing and now they start flowering. You know that they're making taters on the bottom. And then what will happen is they'll be nice and bright green with orange, or not orange, but red or blue tinting will show you that. They're really pretty. And all of a sudden they just start wilting. It's like, whoa, what's happened? You know, did my frost hit or something happen to my taters?
Look like maybe the dog peed on them or something.
They'll just start yellowing and falling over on you. Well, they're not dying. That's just telling you they're ready to be harvested. So we do 5, 6, I think we're doing 5 tubs of each one. So we'll take one tub and we'll pour it out to see how it's doing to make sure. We won't dump them all at the same time, but we'll show you that when we get to that point. And make sure your taters are there. Because you'll have small taters, you'll have big taters. I mean, we have really good luck doing it this way. So we'll show you that later, but that's pretty much a gist of where we're at now and what we're going to be expecting through the end. So now, like I say, we've already got our 25 buckets out there. We've already got our 6 inches of soil in those. So today, being with everything going on in the world right now, Grove Compost is still not, they will not open up their compost center this year. So we're having to do things a little bit different. I'm still going to be using a little bit of the mushroom compost, which is, I'm still scared to use a lot of it. So I'm going to use a little bit of that. We're going to use a mulch and manure compost mixture that we got and bags of that. And then we're going to use a potting mix. Now, the reason I'm using the potting mix is to help keep the soil loose. I've got some peat moss we're going to put in there to help keep it loose, so that way our taters aren't being restricted, because it gets packed, it's hard for those taters to grow. Just like carrots or beets or anything else, you want a nice, loose, loamy soil so they can grow freely. The easier they can grow, the bigger they're going to get. The less they have to fight, the better, the bigger your taters are going to be. So you want a nice, loose soil. So compost is really good. It's loose. You've got different nutrients in it. Also important is the potting soil we're going to be using to kind of help break that up and keep it loose in there. So that way our taters are free to grow. But I think that's pretty much where we're at. We're going to step outside. We're going to try it out there. Hopefully it's not too windy. And then we'll either do it on fast forward so you don't have to worry about the wind, or we'll do some talking when we get out there. But we'll see you outside here in a few. Okay, so we're going to real quick before the wind gets going here. We got our potting mix. What we're going to use is half a bag of this. This is our cow manure and compost. We're going to use 4 bags of this to a half bag of this. We got our peat moss here, so this will help keep everything nice and loose. And of course our all-purpose fertilizer. That's what we're going to be using today. These are the half a bag, 4 of those and 1 of those, and we'll see where we're at and how that fills it up. That's what we're going to be using today to start it.
Okay.
We'll show you real quick what we're going to do is, like I said earlier, make sure your chits are going upward. We're just going to place that down in here so everything's going the way we want it. We're going to do 6 of them in these. We got enough of them. So just kind of make sure everything's going the right direction. And then we're going to backfill this with about 3 inches of soil. And then let the leaves come up through that, and then they'll come up about 6 to 7 inches. Then we'll put about 3 inches in there, and we'll just keep working on that every week. And actually, some of them grow faster than others. Some of them are early summer, some of them are late summer potatoes. So they'll all mature at different times, but we'll just keep you updated. And got my soil ready, and we're gonna start covering these up, and we're just gonna work our way down. We're gonna keep them together, do all of our purples here. I think they're actually blue. They look purple, but they're blue. And then we'll just keep working our way around. And we'll up front, we'll probably do our harvest blend so that we have different color foliage. So it's kind of prettier. She likes this one. This is her prettiest one, so that's why she wants it by the greenhouse. But we're going to do the festive or the other blend up front. So when we get to work, we'll see you in a bit.
Okay, don't forget the water in your potatoes. Get everything watered in real good. A healthy dose of water. And I guess that's it for the day. You guys have an awesome day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. When you subscribe, you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. You guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Smile for us. Bye.